promised I'd tell you more about C-sections and why it's very helpful for children and adults to go back and get that story to rest inside the brain. The reason is C-sections are fast. First off, they save lives, and that's what we say. Thank you, thank you. We want the baby's life to be saved. But please don't use an elective C-section because there's hidden stories that affect your baby's nervous system. And if you can have a vaginal birth, you're going to give them a better foundation for experiencing weight and pressure and frustration instead of trying to control everything and being a little more fragile. Now, it never shows up the same way for each person who has a C-section. So many people say, I had a C-section, I'm fine. Not a problem. It's the problems that we want to address. Some of those problems are kids can have more meltdown in school. They can be hypersensitive or controlling. They cannot like stuff on their skin, the tags on their shirts, the food that they eat. And sometimes that's because they didn't get the tolerance of weight and pressure. What a C-section does, and let me grab one of my props because it will help you. The C-section for the baby gives it weight and pressure. It has the experience of coming through pressure, which squeezes the whole body. And since we know in my green book back there, Help for Sensory Challenges, that proprioception is a foundation of knowing where you are. And so you're much less likely to get vigilant and controlling if you can relax into the support of weight and gravity on the earth. So what is C-section? It's a very fast transition. So even if it's medically necessary, you want to help the child or your own nervous system go back and release any kind of leftover fear. I've treated 7-year-olds with constant night terrors until we went back through the C-section, and they could put to rest that scary thing. I've treated a 4-year-old who was having meltdowns and grabbing another kid at school and barricading so the teachers couldn't get in. Don't you come in here. That's kind of the story of the C-section. And there's confusion about safety. Think about it. If you were in a pool and all of a sudden the pool broke open and whoosh, that's what it's like. I treated triplets in a pool, and one of them, they each told a different story of their experience of the C-section. But one of them was terrified the pool would break. And why? Because that was too fast a transition. 2 to 3 minutes, life-saving, all right, we like that. Then you want to help the story rest in the body-mind so the kid isn't controlling all the time or afraid to cross thresholds. As a university professor, I had one student who would never turn her papers in. She would get there, she'd get all excited about the assignment, she'd work on it and then completely forget it. Just like, she didn't find her own through way. She had to be rescued. A C-section is a rescue birth. So sometimes people give up their potency. And she would, then she'd remember and work really hard just the night before the assignment, and then she'd forget to turn it in. So there's confusion, there's inability to orient, there's extra control issues. These can be some of the signs. And again, not everybody has them. And we can make the stories relational. We can tell them and express them. We can take the shock out of the nervous system. That's what we do at the Brook Institute. We work with all kinds of trauma and we get to the roots of it and we re-inform the body-mind. So I hope you've joined my free PDF library, and if you're a therapist or even a coach, that you will sign up for my online courses. You have such an understanding of behavior and what lives at the roots of it, and how can you help people change the body-mind in order to change the pain. Hope to see you.